Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another installment of the video series of the By Any Means Necessary, where I explain the tracks from my upcoming album. Sorry, I just got back into town from work. Normally, I like to do these videos in the morning just to get them out so you can see them, but today didn't work out so well. I was out of town working for the past couple days, and I had recorded a couple videos a couple days in advance, and was out of town longer than I thought I would be. So, anyways, today we're talking about Everywhere. So, this is a funny track, and it kind of ties in with certain tracks. Like, for instance, on the first track, Keeping It 100, I have a verse on there about how I don't feature with secular rappers. Well, this track originally had a secular rapper on it. I originally had Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony on it. I ended up cutting him due to the convictions that eventually developed over time. So he got cut from it. Some funny things have happened too. Like, this is a pretty old track, so let me start with that. This was supposed to go on. I recorded this track like 2 years ago. Second Chance and Loso sent me their verses a long time ago, and they were really hyped to release it. And they really wanted to release it, and they've been waiting for a long time for it to be released. It originally had me, Second Chance, Loso, Eric C, the Temper Tantrum, Busy Bone, and In Him, or Joel Arsenio from HTA. Joel ended up dropping off. Eric C got tired of waiting, I guess, and I heard the verse that he did for me actually wound up on the Hog Mob Swine Flu album. I think it was Crucifix. That verse was originally meant for this track. So it kind of sucks that he ended up having to put that somewhere else. But I mean, I understand. There's no bad blood or anything. But yeah. And Busy Bone I ended up having to cut just because it didn't, my convictions didn't work out. And I was faced with kind of an interesting decision to make, because he loved the track so much. He wanted to put it on his Greatest Hits album that, I don't know if it's dropped or not, but a couple years back they contacted me asking if they could use this track on the Greatest Hits, and I just said no. I'm not okay with that. So, but finally this track came out. But yeah, obviously my verse originally was a little sloppy. Just this year I kind of tweaked it a little bit, so it's a little cleaner. You heard the triple time I added in there, like tiny little bits. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what happened, and it's a great track. I really like it. A lot of people dug it so far. I know what it's like to be the worst rapper on your own track. So, anyways, but yeah, that's pretty much Everywhere. And really hope you guys enjoy that track.
Cause he got it, he's everlasting and never stops. You want it, he's got a treasure, he caught it, entire body was severed, the savior, it's Jesus. Believe me, there is no better rock. He got it, he's everlasting and never stops. You want it, he's got a treasure, he caught it, entire body was severed, the savior, it's Jesus. Believe me, there is no better rock. Yo, I never thought it was for me, I just look and listen.
Better Rock. I think this is probably one of the most anticipated songs on the album, just because Json is on it, and he's he's dope. He's really popular. It's funny, this is again another really old song. A couple years at least, probably a good 2 years old. I used to have a manager that did a little bit of work with Lampmode, knew Shylin, and I asked if he could possibly get me a Json feature, and he put me in touch with him a little bit, I guess, in an email, and we ended up, I got a feature from him. I never really got to talk to him too much. He did the feature. I wish we would have had the opportunity to build a bit more, but I mean, that's kind of how hip hop is a lot of times these days. You know, you don't really get to build with these artists, and I mean, that's not throwing any shade on him. Obviously, he's a busy guy, like really popular, really dope, but yeah, I guess that's one thing we need to work on as artists, is really working with the people we're working with. Yeah, so got that. Disciple, we had been building a little bit at that time. I was on his album. He did this for me, and then I believe he asked me to be on a cypher track, and I was on his cypher track with like Domingo Guyton, Dayton, K-Drama, all these guys. So it was really an honor to do. But yeah, so I mean, you know, this track originally, same, it's all its original content. I switched up the way I flowed my verse a little bit, but it turned out really well. As far as everything else goes, though, there's a long clip in the end of it from John MacArthur on what's the bottom line to getting saved, like, because a lot of times, you know, we as Christians, it's like, you know, you get up, you walk an aisle, you get your ticket punched, you're saved. That's it. You can never lose it. When in reality, that's not the case. It's repentance and belief, but belief in what? So basically, he goes over the basic beliefs of Christianity, and it's probably one of my favorite songs on the album, and my favorite part is the John MacArthur excerpt, dealing with it. But, yeah. And this track, I definitely think it's one of the high points of the album. You know, it's just really solid production, really solid verses from everybody. You know, great excerpt in explaining the gospel, really, and what it means to be a Christian. And I think that's the main thing. We have to keep the main thing. The main thing is just sharing the truth of Christ. And that's, I mean, as much as nobody's going to get this joke, but to Sheena and Forrest, but, you know, it's dope. It's really dope. No, it's great, though. Like, I think we need to focus more on that. Focus more on the gospel and really bringing it to people. And not being ashamed of it. And I'm not ashamed to have a long excerpt in it and just to share a little bit on my experience as well. So if you haven't pre-ordered the album, you got 3 days. So look down, subscribe, hit thumbs up, and the link to pre-order is below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. And just to kind of cap this off, I'm going to be doing the last 2 tracks tomorrow. So that's October 3rd. The album comes out October 5th. And then on October 4th, I'm actually going to be doing a Periscope. So I'm going to give you my address to add. I'm going to be answering any questions you might have about the album, about my convictions, anything you've heard in this video series, where I stand theologically. Nothing's off the table, because we really need to, I think we shouldn't be ashamed of that. So yeah, so if you add, I'll add it below, but it's @ capitals, all capitals, A.O.N. _ hip hop. You'll see me, you'll see the album cover, hit follow, and tomorrow I will have a time for you that I'll be doing the Periscope. But yeah, subscribe, like, pre-order. Thanks, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
The Savior is Jesus. Believe me, there is no better rock. He got it, he got it. He's everlasting and never stops. You want it, you want it, you want it. He's got a treasure. He caught it, he caught it. Entire body was severed. The Savior is Jesus. Believe me, there is no better rock.
Yeah. See, I come for with cash flipping and mags clicking. And they willing to die as long as they swag's dripping. They lack vision, they don't know what their blood's like. Views distorted, nobody showed them what love's like.